All right, it's 5 after. Y'all want to go ahead and call it? Okay, as in call it, as in start. All right.
Mhm.
I want this to be as organic as possible, y'all. Ask your questions. Let's just have a fluid conversation. As all of us that are WGS Women and Gender Studies faculty members, just kind of introduce you to what we have going on, and see, how you can be involved. That's really what this open house is. I have dropped in the chat the itinerary for today. If you didn't get it, let me know, because I know if you come on, if you add on to the Zoom later, you see it when you add on. So I just put it in the chat there. So there it is. Okay. So I welcome everyone. Thank you so much for your time. I know you could have been anywhere, but we appreciate you coming here. I'm Dr. Cami Fletcher. I'm in the history department. I am the new co-coordinator with Dr. Kate Lemon, who's also, co-coordinator of Women and Gender Studies. I've just come on. She has more knowledge of the background of this group, but I'm excited to just, continue to engage in dismantling oppression, dismantling patriarchy, and continuing to put women and our experiences at the center of analysis. So, Kate, I'll hand it over to you.
Okay. Yeah, and I'm Dr. Kate Lehman. I've been at Albright for about 12 years and oversaw or co-coordinated women's and gender studies for about 10 years of that. And so we're kind of building on the legacy, of course, of faculty members and administrators before us, but helping the field really evolve to encompass all these new insights from the fields of women's and gender studies. And my own area is communications. I teach in the communications department. And so I look at stereotypes of women in media, and I've taught like a women gender media class in addition to LGBT studies classes in women's studies.
Excellent. Thank you. So we both want to welcome you. Now we'll just head right into who are we as the faculty. And again, at the bottom of that itinerary, you'll see who we are, our names, but we're going to go around now. I will start. Kate, again, can go next to add on more or reiterate, and then whoever wants to go will just go. Again, I'm Dr. Cami Fletcher in the history department. This is my second year at Albright, but I've been teaching in higher education over a decade. I have a master's in women's studies. The course here that I hope will be an elective for those that minor in women and gender studies is my class on African Americans and the Great Migration. There is a real gender theme there, from the books that we're going to read to the idea of why Black women are migrating out of the South versus Black men. There's just an automatic just gender element that we're just going to dive in. I've taught intro to women's studies, women, gender, and images. So I'm excited to really just see how I can continue to bring that kind of pedagogy here to Albright. My specific area is African American deathways and death work. And I definitely look at Black women undertakers in the early 1900s, late 1800s, and the gender dynamics of undertaking, funeral service, and death as well. My latest research is on RIP t-shirts and looking at the youth, but also women in driving that type of mourning culture.
Okay. Yeah, and I would just add to my introduction earlier that I teach classes in journalism and communications, and I'm very big on bringing in gendered analysis really into all these fields, even if they're not specific women's and gender studies classes. My background is in American studies, and I also taught in women's and gender studies programs at the University of New Mexico and the University of Miami, and have gone to like all sorts of conferences in the field. So I have a sense of, what's happening nationally and internationally with women's studies. And I will be teaching in fall 2 the Intro to Women's and Gender Studies course. I think some of you may be from that section. But if you have, room for a connections course, that's one to take. And I know Dr. Aquino is also thinking of teaching a section in spring, so that should be offered relatively frequently. Okay. Beth or Dr. Keister?
Sure, I can go next. So I'm Dr. Keister. My pronouns are she and her. I teach in the sociology department, particularly my areas of expertise are family studies and immigration studies. Some of the classes I teach that you can take as electives in the WGS program include sociology of the family, parenting and technology, work and family conflict, and at a global perspective, immigration and transnational families. These all have highly gendered components to them. And the immigration and transnational families has even been used as a capstone, a senior capstone course for the co-major. I have also done an ACRE project on the intersectionality of government policies and religious attitudes on LGBTQ communities. I did that with a student a couple of years ago. I've been at Albright 7 years and love being a part of this great group of faculty.
Excellent. Teresa, Dr. Gilliams.
Hello, I am Dr. Teresa Gilliams, and I teach in the English department. Some of the courses that I teach that I guess fall under the umbrella of women's and gender studies are my classes on Black women writers. I teach a course on hip hop. And I will say this, at the heart of all of my courses is this interrogation of race and critical race theory, which is always asking questions about how race intersects with gender and sexuality, one's class identity. And so all of my classes take up this issue of identity and how that plays out. I've been at the college for, I guess, 15 years. And I would say that beyond what I teach, I'm always thinking about the ways in which men have dominated my educational experience, and just trying to help students, push against that and question why, even when they think they're making a difference or being conscientious, they're oftentimes just kind of internalizing this idea, especially women, internalizing this idea that, it's important to be nice or to be accommodating in order to get your voice heard. And so I will say that, I'm really interested in how women in particular get othered in literary texts and what it means to reframe that. I don't know what else I need to add. This semester I'm teaching a senior seminar in a honors writing with text English 102 course. If I think of something else, I'll weigh in.
Absolutely. No, thank you. Dr. Aquino, did you want to go next?
Yeah, I'm Hillary Aquino. I'm in the history department, and I teach the history of medicine and public health, which I'm currently teaching, where I might put that in to be an elective, since we do actually spend a considerable amount of time discussing gendered aspects of medicine and public health. And I also teach U.S. women's history, which I normally offer in the spring, which some of you have taken. Christina and Natasha were both in it last spring. I also teach in the public health program. So I think that's something that we normally don't necessarily link up to women and gender, but it certainly is a component, looking at the way those identities come to play with public health policy is certainly an important area. And I also have taught the intro to women and gender studies here and at a couple of other higher ed institutions. And I've been at Albright, I think, for 14 years. Okay, that's it.
Excellent, thank you. Dr. Kusit?
Hi, I'm Jennifer Kusid, and I teach in the religious studies department. So the classes that I teach are very interested in the ways that people understand what's proper in terms of gender, in terms of sex, and in terms of sexuality as is grounded in their religious understandings, right? So I'm a biblical scholar primarily, so I do a lot of work on the Bible, a lot of my scholarship is what's called feminist interpretation of scripture and queer interpretation of scripture. So the class I teach is called Sex Gender Bible, where we really examine the ways, what the Bible actually says about sex, gender, sexuality, and ways in which it's actually sometimes a little different, right, than what you often hear from, say, politicians or your pastors or whomever. And really try to give students the tools to read these scriptures for themselves and kind of make their own decisions about what they say and what they mean and how, if at all, they should be applied to their lives. So I'll be teaching that class in the spring, Sex Gender Bible.
All right, thank you so much for those introductions. That was great, so that students get to know a little bit about who we are, where we're located, and what classes that we teach, and classes and how they intersect with WGS. Now I'm hoping to do an icebreaker. Has anyone heard of Kahoot? Yes, I hear you screaming. Okay, if this doesn't go like it's supposed to go, I'm going to blame my teenagers that helped me set this up. Okay, so you all can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Yes, all right. So I'm going to start 3 different games, and the winner of each game gets a prize. All right, so I'm going to start it, and I'm going to tell you how to go. Let's see. I think if I just put y'all back over here, that'll work. Okay, so if you're on your laptop or even if you're on your phone, you can literally just go to kahoot.it. You can just go to www.kahoot.it and just put in this pin and you'll be in the game. So come on, y'all, take 1 minute, go to kahoot.it. Yay, Christina's in. Excellent. Folks are in. Okay, does everyone see their name? Okay, everyone that's playing, let me make sure.
Are we all expected to play?
If you win, Teresa, you're not getting the prize, Dr. Gilliam.
Okay,
but yeah, you
then
can
I
play.
won't. I won't play.
Because it might not be fair.
Right, I won't play.
Okay, everyone is, I want to make sure. Okay, I'm trying to make sure that everybody that's going to play is in. I think I have everybody, yes? Because I can't see everybody's thing. Okay, we're going to start. And I really need to move this over. There we go. Okay, so women account for blank percent of the world's illiterate population. Is it 29, 71, 60, or 67? All right. Y'all doing good already. Okay. All right. Next question. At least 1 in blank women will experience some sort of violence during their lifetime. Okay, 3. All right. Okay. Okay, next question. Around blank million women alive today were married as children. 300, 800, 650, or 660? Okay. All right, somebody's moving up the leaderboard. All right, next question. Halfway done. About blank women die from pregnancy or childbirth related complications around the world every day. Hmm, 830. Heartbreaking. Okay, next question. Adolescent girls and young women constitute blank % of all young people living with HIV. Hmm, 61%. Okay. All right, next question. In blank countries, women are not allowed to do the same jobs as men. All right, you got a couple of seconds to get your answers in. 100 countries. All right. Okay, couple of more questions in this one. Only blank % of all national parliamentarians are women. What %? %24. Okie doke. All right, we're the second of the last question. Of the 500 largest corporations in the world, blank have a female chief executive officer. So what do we think? 5. All right, last question, y'all. Let's see who our winner will be. Women own less than blank % of the world's land. All right, take your time, choose wisely. Think it through. Okay, 20. All right, and the winner is, well, third place, Anne-Marie. Good job, Anne-Marie. Second, Noelle. Good job, Noelle. And first place, Kelly. Let's see, where is Kelly? I'm gonna stop sharing for a second. Kelly, where are you? Can we see who you are, Kelly? Yay! And we learned while we won. Okay, are you guys ready for the second of 3? Okay, all right. Should I let everybody play? I'll let y'all decide. If everybody wants to play, then everybody will just play. Okay, let me share my screen again. And okay, so they told me close out of this, leave the site, and we're gonna do, oh, wait a minute. What did I do wrong? Okay, and we're gonna play this one. Okay, everybody can still see my screen. Okay, oh, start. Okay, so there is the Kahoot number. So you just go to kahoot.it. All right, we've got folks popping in already. Yay. Okay, we're missing a player from last time. Okay, so I don't know if
I dropped out. It's okay.
Okay, I hear Beth saying no. Okay, all right, we're starting. Okay, so famous women in history. Okie doke, who is this? Investigative journalist, educator, led an international anti-lynching campaign.
Okay,
You got
everyone,
30 seconds. Oh,
History 204 should know the answers to most of these.
think it through. You've got what? 8 seconds. Okay. It was Ida B. Wells. All right. Okay, next question. Who is it? Considered the greatest, most expressive jazz singer of all time. Who do you think this is pictured? Okay, all right, folks know who that is. All right. Mexico's greatest artist considered. Yay, good. Y'all should know that. Okay. Poet, come on, y'all know who this is. All right, yes, we know who this is. Okie doke, Natasha is at the top of the leaderboard. All right. Pakistani activist for female education, Nobel Prize laureate. All right, yes. My son read her book and loved it. Okay, Noelle is creeping back up. Okay. All right, we're halfway done with this one. All right. Jane Goodall. Okay, Kamaya. You rose up. All right. Okay. The first Latina Supreme Court justice in U.S. history is? All right. Sonia Sotomayor. Did I mispronounce that? Sotomayor. Okay. All right. Noelle is back on top. Okay. 8 of 12 questions. Who is this? Third Prime Minister of India, shaped post-war Indian construction and constitution and society. Who is this phenomenal woman here? Okay, all right. Need to learn a little bit more on our global history. That's okay. That's what we're here to do. Kamaya has risen to the top. 9 of 12 questions. Okay, 3 more. First woman to lead a Muslim state. Okie doke. All right, Anne Marie has climbed up. All right, 2 more questions, y'all. First elected female president, head of state in Africa. Who was this 24th president of Liberia? All right. Okay, Noelle is leading. Okay. Question 11 of 12, two more. This one and one more. All right. We are at our last question. Kelly has moved up. Okay, last question. First person to win Nobel Prize in both chemistry and physics. Okie doke. Let's see who the winner is of this one. Famous women in history. Third prize, Kelly. Yay. Second, Anne Marie. All right. First prize, Noelle. Noelle is winning it all. Good job, y'all. Good job. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing my screen to congratulate Noelle for a second time. Are we are we ready for the last one? Yes? Okay, all right. Last quiz, trying to break up the ice here while we're in virtual space. Okay. Close this, leave this here. And let's see, women's history quiz. Here we go. This is our last one for today. So it's gonna go. Oh, it's loading. Okay. All right. Okay, y'all. Here is the pen. Come on, everybody, log in. Here's the pen, 334-9364. Okay, so all right, we have all 8 players. We're gonna start. Okay. Who is this woman? All right, Clara Barton. Okay. Think and pick wisely. What year did women win the right to vote? We got it. Excellent. The quicker you get it, the more points you get. Okay, Anne Marie is on top. All right. Third question. The first Women's Rights Convention. Where, when? Okie doke, Seneca Falls. All right, Noelle, let's creep back up. Question 4. Okay, who is this phenomenal woman developing cosmetics for Black women in the early 1900s? All right, Madam C.J. Walker. Okay. All right, halfway done with this one. Who was the first woman to graduate from medical school in the U.S.? Okie doke. Okay, Kelly's moving back up. All right, question 6, true or false? Some 19th century doctors thought that education was hazardous. True or false? Hazardous to a woman's health. Okie doke. Okay, 3 questions left. Which 19th century feminist name became associated with a specific women's garment? Woman's garment? All right. A bloomer. Okay. 2 more. 8, 9, 10, 3 more. In what year did Equal Credit Opportunity Act allow women to hold credit in their own name? When did this happen? (1974).
What?
Natasha has risen back up. Okay. 2 more questions. Come on, y'all. Shirley Chisholm made a bid for U.S. presidency in 72 with what slogan? I had a t-shirt with her name and that slogan. I still have it, but it needs to be resized. That's right. Unbought and unbossed. Okay, last question. This is it. In what year was Albright's Women in Gender Studies program established? This is from our website. What does it say on our website? I guess, does that mean you guys are going to go to the website now before you answer? 1989. All right. The last of the icebreakers. Let's see who's third place. Christina, yay. Kelly, good job. Noelle, all right. Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. Oh wait, let me turn this because the Kahoot is still in my ear, y'all. Hold on. Before we go on. Okay. Leave this side. Okay, I thoroughly enjoyed that. And I hope you all did too. That was the plan for the icebreaker, to give out prizes. So Kelly won the first one. Noelle, you won both of them. And each of the winners win a wonderful Albright t-shirt and a really nice Albright water jug. Yay!
Yay!
You're gonna love that t-shirt when you need something to wear. You're gonna love that water cooler thing when you need some water. So will you all email me, let's see, K Fletcher at Albright. I'm putting this in the chat. Kelly and Noelle, will you just email me, hi, I'm the winner, and I'll make sure that you get your stuff. So and you know what, from this, I was hoping that we all thought, oh goodness, I need to know more about this, right? I didn't know this, so this is shocking, this is surprising. And so I need to learn more and take these courses that really delve into this stuff. Okay, if there is no other questions about that, then Dr. Lemon and Dr. Kusit are going to talk more about the Albright history, the Albright Women in Gender Studies program.
You're muted. Okay.
I have kids descending on my house for a play date, so I muted myself. But I wasn't able to share my screen. Is there a way to turn that on?
Oh, no.
Yeah,
Okay.
if you put me as a co-host, I probably could.
Or you can do multiple participants can share screen,
Yeah.
and then
We're
that'll
trying to keep out the Zoom bombers, but I swear I'm not one of them. Okay.
yeah.
I
think we'll
made
probably
you
do-
co-host, Kate. Can you check
Okay,
now?
I think
Okay.
that works
we go.
now. Are you seeing?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay. All right. Slideshow. Play from start. Okay. Are you seeing that now?
Yes.
Okay. And I wanted to call attention, if you didn't see in the chat, David Tanner, who's here, also dropped in a lot about what's happening in the arts and the fact that they've, of course, had a number of exhibitions and performances that relate to women and gender. And I'll give him a minute if he's, are you still here, David? I don't know if he's still here.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay. Yeah. Did you want to just introduce that briefly for a minute before we?
Sure. I'll just say, kind of repeat that the Center for the Arts definitely every season has a number of things that you folks might want to take advantage of that relate to LGBT topics, race, social justice, women's issues. You know, many of our faculty use those in their classes or as experience credits, whether they're theater productions or concerts that feature, you know, music that has been written by women, or exhibits in the gallery. I listed a number of artists that recently, just off the top of my head, were featured in the gallery. I probably missed several as well.
Mm-hmm.
And coming up this spring, we'll be revisiting 2 artists that were in a show here in 2011 that specifically deal with women and gender studies issues from a very historical perspective. So definitely look for that coming up in the spring. And we've also partnered with Now. I know they're active again this year, and anytime that we can, you know, we're happy to partner with you. That's really all I'm here to say. So good job. We love you guys, and whatever we can do to support you, we will.
All right, fantastic. Thank you. All right, so WGS at Albright. I think you all know hopefully what WGS stands for, but it's Women's and Gender Studies. It was formed at Albright in 1989, or so the website tells me. And I know it started out as an interdisciplinary women's studies program. There was also, fascinating fact, a women's center with a director that actually had a place on campus. A lot of larger campuses have this, just kind of like a resource and sharing place. That went away for a while. When we took over about 10 years ago, myself and Dr. Jennifer Kusid, soon after that, we changed the names to Women's and Gender Studies to reflect kind of the broadening of the field and the encompassing of, you know, non-binary identities, trans issues, critical masculinity studies, that sort of thing, under the rubric of Women's and Gender Studies. And some students also revived what's now called the Gender Resource Center on campus and made that kind of a resource place and clearinghouse for activism for students. And I know student activism changes periodically, just as new, you know, an influx of students come in. We used to have a feminist group called Shadow, I think, before the Now chapter really got active here. And so it's really wonderful to see where students go with that. Dr. Fletcher, as she mentioned, has joined me this year as co-coordinator for the program and has fantastic ideas and enthusiasm, pretty much single-handedly organized this event. So really excited to collaborate with her and to continue to collaborate with Dr. Kusid, even if she's not yet or still officially co-coordinator. Okay, I'll pass over the next slide to Jennifer.
Okay. So, you know, if you go to our website, you'll see a lot of information about us and about what we do. And in particular, we just wanted to draw your attention to these, our learning goals. So you might be thinking, well, what will I do? What will I learn if I go and take a Women and Gender Studies program class? And, you know, the first point here is that you're going to learn how to use gender as an analytical category. You might even be thinking, I don't even know what that means. But trust me, you will know what that means within a week, right, of a Women and Gender Studies class. And it's basically that you'll learn to use gender as a lens, right? So everything you look at, every movie you watch, every song you listen to, every current event you learn about, you will start to see the gender dynamics or the gender ideas or the gender ideologies. And I've had students leave the intro course, for example, WGS 210, and say, oh, I can't even watch, you know, TV anymore without thinking about, you know, what's going on in terms of gender and sex and sexuality. So that's really one of the main things that you learn in a Women and Gender Studies class. Now, of course, you'll also learn things like the history of women, the different varieties of feminism, both as a political philosophy and as an activist stance, right? So that's one of the things that's sometimes different about a women and gender studies classroom, is that you're not just learning a bunch of material or a bunch of content. There's always also a connection to the world. This intersects, of course, gender intersects with race, class, and other aspects of identity. And we really spend a lot of time in many of our classes looking at those intersections and understanding how gender actually changes and shifts depending on what other aspects of identity it's intersecting with. And of course, gender changes and shifts across time and across cultures. And so those are really the focuses of just about any women and gender studies class you take at Albright.
Okay, let's see if I can get my arrow here. All right, so obviously it's making clear, and we're just kind of a subset of the faculty who have taught courses in the program. And I think, was it Dr. Keister, or someone had mentioned that people had taken her class as a senior seminar for women's and gender studies and had actually done a capstone project in that class. So we have had people who teach women's and gender studies themed classes periodically or regularly that are integrated into the program, and students do work in their classes. And of course, many faculty have participated in WGS events on campus. Just reiterating what Jennifer said, we explore how race, class, and other aspects of identity intersect with gender and sexuality. So it's very, I think, tuned into thinking about identity as intersectional and multi-layered and complex in that way. Students can co-major or minor in women's and gender studies and are welcome to take our courses as electives or as gen ed requirements. So I'm always excited to see that many of my intro to WGS students are taking this as a required connections course. The hope is that they're interested enough that they might pursue a major or minor, but even if not, that's an important part of education. And this is just a few of the classes we've offered recently. There's a full list on the website. There are new ones being added periodically, but Sex, Gender, and Bible, which Dr. Kusin mentioned, Immigration and Transnational Families, Dr. Keister mentioned. I've taught a couple sections of the LGBTQ History, Politics, and Culture class, and then Dr. Fletcher is teaching the Great Migration class this semester. And we're always, of course, interested and open to ideas you might have for future classes. All right, so I'll turn this over to Jennifer.
Yeah, so as Dr. Lehman said, you can do a combined major or a minor. The combined major you would combine, right, with English, with sociology, psychology, anything else, history, that's actually a great combination as well, anything else that you're actually really interested in. And then you get to see how these two ways of looking at the world, right, your history classes and your women and gender studies classes should really probably interact and intersect a lot. They really support each other. So with a combined major, like most combined majors, we're looking for 7 courses. You have the WGS 210, which is the intro course that's taught at least once a year, and maybe even more this year. Because women and gender studies is not just a bunch of stuff you learn in the classroom, but a way of being in the world, we also have a required internship. And the internship can be almost anywhere, right? Because there are issues of gender, sex, sexuality in just about any organization you are interested in. So you would work with I always forget how to say, there's so many letters, the career planning place, and a professor to work out your internship. And I've lost the slide. The slide has moved on.
Oh, has it? I'm so sorry. Okay.
Yeah, that's okay.
Is it
but then there's also a
there we go.
400 level class, right, if you're doing the combined major. If you're doing the minor, of course, it's just 5 classes, so just the WGS 210, a 200 level internship, and 3 other WGS courses of your choice. And it's important to note that with the minor, all of those courses can also be either major courses or general education courses. All right, so the minor might give you a way of doing your, say, full history major But because you're also interested in women gender studies, you get these other classes in as well. So the minor gives you a lot of flexibility.
All right, and I gave you a spoiler of the next slide. Sorry about that. So we routinely will sponsor events or co-sponsor events that are held from other departments. And I want to give credit, of course, to, the history department and English and, the arts on
Religion.
campus. I'm sorry, you there? Yeah, that also sponsor events that are women and gender studies themed. And this is a collection of just some of the past events that we've covered. Or speakers that we brought on campus, from Anthea Butler, who's a prominent professor at UPenn, Dr. Gil Frank, who I think is now at the University of Virginia. We've had authors, Rachel Hills, who wrote the book The Sexsmith, and I know Dr. Kusid was teaching her book at her class at the same time, and that was a much more kind of a self-disclosure type workshop that she led. We had an awesome lecture by Jennifer Baumgartner and Amy Richards, who are prominent third wave feminists, filmmaker Poppy Liu, who did kind of a cool piece on reproductive rights and her experience of abortion. And then Dr. Donna Freitas, who's done some ethnographic and religious studies based research on sexuality on campus, coming in to talk about sex and spirituality. And she also held workshops for student life staff at the time. So we try to, again, partner with other places on campus that are holding these events, but we're also interested if you hear of an amazing book or film or speaker, especially if somebody is kind of touring this area of Pennsylvania, that would be great to speak on campus. We're eager to hear those ideas. All right.
Yep, and we also often do films, particularly documentaries. And so these are just 3 of the recent documentaries that we have shown on campus. The Purity Myth, which is put together by a feminist activist by the name of Jessica Valente to talk about some communities' fixations on women's virginity and modesty. The Mask You Live In, which is a documentary that really looks at masculinity in this country, and the way it's constructed and the way it sometimes, as I'm sure you've heard this term, right, turns toxic, right? So it really focuses on constructions of masculinity. And finally, Misrepresentation, which is about women in, mostly in politics, and how difficult it can be to be a woman running for political office. I'm sure we've all witnessed that in the last few years. And all of these films are always come with discussions and panels at the end too. So lots of chance to talk about the issues.
Yeah, we've had panels of faculty and staff and students speak to these. And a lot of these films also are contained, not all of them, but some of them are in the library collection. So we've had student groups who later on say, hey, I really want to do, a screening of this particular film and lead it in a discussion in the dorms. We've had people kind of pick that up and carry that forward. And yeah, along those lines, we really encourage activism on campus and in the community. Most recently, I know that the Take Back the Night March, which happens in late spring or mid to late spring, actually moved to a virtual event on Instagram. So Dr. Fletcher and I know several other faculty contributed videos, and we appreciate the invitation to participate in that. And then we've, of course, participated in other student-led events over the years. And then, as Dr. Kusin mentioned, there is a required internship. And so students have completed internships for WGS credit at places like Planned Parenthood. I know we had a student organizing all sorts of events for the Gable Health Center here on campus related to sexuality and gender and body image. And then, of course, Safe Berks, which used to be Berks Women in Crisis, which is a domestic violence organization. And they actually offer training for working with victims of intimate partner violence. Okay. I think that's the end of my slideshow. So I guess I'll pause there unless people have questions. Okay.
Thank you both so very much.
Sure.
That was really informative to know who we are at WGS, what we've done. And I think when people think women's studies, they think isolation, right? Or they think, what do they think? They think that it's only for women, and that's absolutely insane, just because we're putting women as the subjects and not othering them. So I think you did a wonderful job of doing that. So thank you. Next up, we have Professor Aquino and Natasha Halulakos. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, but please come and talk about NOW. You're on the e-board of NOW, National Organization of Women.
Yeah, so I'll just say a few things about women and gender studies and NOW. So women and gender studies as a discipline, an academic discipline, of course, emerged out of the feminist movement, and its goal was to combine scholarship with activism, right? Which is part of the reason why we require an internship, right? Because we want you to be able to put the theories that you've learned in the classroom, see how they work in real life, right? So NOW, the National Organization for Women, was founded in 1966 during second wave feminism, and there's over 500 branch organizations that are part of NOW. And Natasha is a sophomore. She is majoring in marketing and public relations and minoring in women and gender studies. And she is the social media coordinator for NOW. Now I'm gonna try to share my screen. No, you have to share. I'm not sure. We want Natasha to be able to share her screen to show us some pictures.
Yeah, I believe I can share my.
Okay.
It's disabled for me, but I do
Okay.
have a slide.
So if I go to participants, I can just add more folks, right? So if I could just go to participants and
I think you can make her maybe a
you know what?
co-host.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. Natasha, go ahead. You're a co-host now. You'll be able to share. That's easier.
So I'm the faculty advisor for NOW, but the students run the organization, right? They decide what they want to focus on each year, and they also put together all the events. And certainly Take Back the Night is probably the biggest event. And it requires a lot of organization. When it's a face-to-face event, you have to deal with outside speakers and setting up everything outside. So it's a great, if you are interested and you join the organization, and hopefully eventually you want to serve on the board, it's great organizational experience. Okay, Natasha will talk about what they've done.
So as Dr. Aquino said, we are the National Organization of Women, and we're a feminist organization here on campus. We strive to end sexual discrimination, and yeah, we have weekly meetings. This year it is every other week, Thursdays 4 to 5. And we're an advocate for all women's rights. We don't just have women members. We've had in the past, I think, 3 male members last year, but it's really just a place to advocate for the empowerment of women. A lot of us are either minors, co-majors of the Women and Gender Studies program. And we push for change not only in Albright campus, but in the overall community as well. In the past, we've worked with public safety, for example, to improve lighting on campus so people felt safer walking home at night. And that's just one of the examples. Here on the left, I have some pictures from different events that we put on. As we mentioned, Take Back the Night is a really big part of, and a really big event for us every year we put on in the spring. It's something that we do put on to end domestic violence, sexual violence, and it usually has speakers, a march around campus, a candlelight vigil. I haven't been able to go yet in person, but hopefully this spring we'll be able to put it on in person. But you're seeing a picture from 2018. The Red 10 event is another event that we do. It's to honor womanhood and menstrual cycles in a society that has a lot of stigma towards that. And our event coming up in October is Pad Party, and this is a special event because we're raising donations for Safe Berks and women's shelters. We get in touch with them and see what they need, and if it's pads, shampoos, I know in the past it's been like sippy cups I've donated before, whatever they need, we send out a list to our members and donate products to them, and we have crafts, and it's a really fun event. But for me personally, I love meeting every week, or this year, every other week, and talking about current events, current issues, and it's just really powerful to be with like-minded women. So if anyone's going into the women's program here, I think that it's really beneficial to join this organization. And I've thrown up our Instagram handle. This is a new position, the social media coordinator. I've kind of just made it because that is my major, and so I've kind of inserted myself there. But we're always open if anyone wants to reach out, or we're always open to new members. So that's just a little bit about us.
Hey, thanks, Natasha. Know if anyone has any questions for Natasha or for me.
I'd like to know how large is your organization right now? How many students would you say are involved?
Yeah, so I can speak on behalf of our secretary. Knows that our email list is over 200 people, but the people who show up to the meetings is significantly less. So we have about, I'd say, devoted people every week, maybe 15 people come at most.
No, that's awesome though, that you have
Yeah.
over 200 that are still staying connected and included. Excellent.
Yeah.
But when the Take Back the Night was live, so I guess it was 2018, a lot of people came to that. I mean, there were a lot of participants, members of NOW and members of the Albright community.
And I know recently I've been in touch with the director, Rachel Romig of Women to Women here in Berks County. And we're actually working on coming up with some sort of college campus student circle for kind of just an extension of NOW. She's been wanting to get involved in that. So that's something we're working with on eBoard. But I know Christina, who was here and then left, she's our treasurer. So that's another eBoard member that we have.
She's in charge of the purse.
I have a question.
Yeah.
How is the college handling activities fair this year, given the, I guess, hybrid dynamic, or even how will students know about, how will they find out about NOW?
Yeah, that's a good question. I can talk to the president and I can ask eBoard. I've been wondering the same thing, even as a student. I know there was some confusion. Our meetings are usually Wednesdays. So yesterday we had our first meeting, but after that they will now be Thursdays. So on our Instagram, we put out a Zoom link and we had a couple people join and we went over what we plan to do this semester. A lot of it's virtual, surprise. But yeah, so as far as the activities fair, I've been wondering the same thing and I can definitely reach out and ask.
Yeah,
I can share with my students, maybe if I just share with them your Albright, the Instagram handle, then
Yeah.
that's a good way to start. And then any changes regarding meeting dates and times will probably be
Exactly.
posted there, right?
Yeah, and I'll type it in the chat just so that you have it. It's Albright
Okay.
Now chapter.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
I just wanted to make everyone aware, in case they don't already know, that Safe Berks has a representative on Albright's campus. I think it's still Stacy Jordan. She did it last year, and she was actually one of my students in SPS a few years ago. And they do a presentation in my women's history class, and we also do a unit on interpersonal violence in my public health class, and they come and present. But a lot of students don't know that they have that resource, and it's free for them. So particularly to the faculty members and the students on here, spread the word, right? That Safe Berks is a resource for them. And it's for men and women, right? Not just women. So.
Thank you.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you both. Is there anything else we want to talk about with NOW? Thank you for your time, you and Christina both.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks,
Of
Natasha.
course. Thank you.
All right, that's been very, very helpful. Now we only have 2 more things left on our agenda here. I'd like to turn it over to Dr. Keister, talking about our Canvas page, which I really see coinciding, just trying to get awareness of us as a group and trying to, see what's going on with NOW as well. But I'll turn it over to you, Dr. Keister.
Sure. Thank you so much. Let's see if I can now share. So with the move from Moodle to Canvas, we decided it might be a good opportunity to reinvent our presence, our online presence. And that we have the web page, and that is definitely one place that's a resource for, again, majors, co-majors or minors, or people who are just interested in more about what we're doing. But we also thought that we could create more of a resource center through Canvas. The first thing I want to make sure you know is, if you're interested in becoming a student, if you will, on this page, just send me an email and we'll get you added to it. The other caveat I want to add is this is still very much a work in progress. So we would also very much like suggestions of things that you think would be helpful. What kind of things do you want to see on this page that would be a good resource to you? So I'll just show you a little bit of the things we have on here. Obviously our goals and who we are. We're working here to put up who our faculty are. I don't have it all working yet. Yeah, so we've got you know who the faculty are. This is obviously something that has to get fleshed out a little bit more. Courses, we want to have a place for you to again find courses, read descriptions. We're working on a film list, and then eventually having some sort of drop-in office hours where people who want to sit and chat with a faculty member who's affiliated with WGS can just come and chat with us. Obviously, we obviously have room for significant improvement and significant content, but again, we want to make this something that is as useful and friendly to you as students as a resource. So definitely send us, if you want to be added as a student, you can send me an email directly. I can drop my email in there. Although realistically, any of us, if you email any of us, we can add you as a student. There will be no quizzes, there will be no homework, it's okay. But it's, again, thinking about a new way of using our learning management system to pool our resources. If you wanted to share testimonials about classes or things that you found interesting, again, we can do an entire module for Now, so that Now has another place to put resources, especially with student organizations. They're high turnover, right? You guys pass your classes and leave, no matter what we try. And so it could act as a repository for you to keep things, so that, as you go off and you graduate, the next set of people have access to those things. So it could act as that for you as an organization as well. So definitely let us know if you want to be added, and if you have any suggestions for ways you think that this would be a useful tool for you as academics, or as Now members, or just people who are passionate and want to see more social justice when it comes to these types of issues.
Thank you, Beth. We really appreciate that. I think Canvas is going to be a great tool, whether we're virtual or face-to-face. No, I'm still on, babe. I'm still on. This is really women's studies, right? Work life. My baby popped in. But okay. All right. But I think Canvas is going to be a really good space, whether we're face-to-face or virtual, to continue to, as you said, the repository, but really let folks know what's going on. Just really keep folks in tune with what's going on. The last thing that we have on the agenda is just 3 slides by me that I want to share with you to really serve as Q&A. So it's 5:10. So as I speak, I'll share my screen, but as I speak, any faculty that want to pop in with comments, and it's kind of on the heels of what Beth was saying with this rebranding, and really kind of have a discussion on what is women's studies, please unmute yourselves, ask a question. Any participants, please unmute yourselves, ask a question. Okay. So you all should be able to see my screen. All right. Again, I have 3 slides. Okay. All right. So what is gender and women's studies? I think it's important because women's studies itself really gets the branding of being Eurocentric. It gets the branding of being by and for white women, and we're just not doing that. Everyone that has spoken today has talked about women's studies is about intersectionality. And I really want to drive this point home here. You know, women's studies is for everyone. Natasha said it, we have everyone here. This is all about engaging with dismantling patriarchy, all about dismantling male privilege, all of this. So women's studies then, and this is something pulled right off of the first 1.5 pages of a textbook that I use by Shaw and Lee when I teach Intro to Women's Studies. And this is what they're saying here. It's an interdisciplinary academic field devoted to issues concerning women, concerning gender, concerning activism. And when you look at women, this is about understanding the experience of the marginalized majority. When you talk about women and we talk about subjugation, we talk about us being a minority, usually that's associated with numbers, but that's not true. Women make 50%, 51% of the population. So then you have to ask yourself, how is this group then marginalized? We're talking about laws, we're talking about policies, we're talking about norms, a culture then that has said that women are marginalized. And we have to really dig into that. And as I've said, and I'll repeat, women's studies, women and gender studies is about putting women as the subject, right? It's not about othering women. As Gerda Lerner and her contribution and compensatory history. It's not add women and stir. It's not, oh, we had these great women in history, so where are the great men in history, so where are the great women, you know, in history. It's not that type of analysis here. And any women and gender studies class is going to focus on gender. You have to. So you have to look at this social construction of femininity and this social construction of masculinity and what kind of weight it carries in continuing oppression, continuing privilege. And gender is how do we perform gender, right? From day one in many of our classes, you'll see that separation of gender and sex right on. In our society, it gets merged together depending on what your genitalia you have. You're assigned a gender, but we all should know that that's not true, right? We see the gender reveals. It's in the treatment. It's how do you perform gender, how we reward it, punish. All of this is the social construction of. And as folks have talked about activism, right? Activism is in multiple ways. And I think that when you look at it, you have to bring in not only feminism, but you have to bring in Black feminism. You have to bring in womanism, coined by Alice Walker in her In Search of My Mother's Garden. You have to look at this. You have to look at how feminism in many cases centers white women's privilege, white women's identity, and pushes women of color and others them. So then in this space, you have to ask yourself with women's studies, how can I be both privileged and oppressed? And so that's what, you know, all of this is, right? So how does our gendered experience interact in other aspects of our identity? So it's all at this intersection: race, ethnicity, sexuality, class. Okay, I'll move on to the second of 3 slides. Again, women and gender studies is absolutely for everyone. You're not doing women and gender studies right if it's not at an intersection. You can't. If you leave out of a discussion and the suffrage issue is only talking about Elizabeth Cady and Susan B. Anthony, you're doing it wrong. You know, where is Terborg Penn's book and African American Women in the Vote, for starters, right? Or even the idea And the scholar's name escapes me, but the idea that these early feminists got the idea for women's studies from Native American women. So those are the intersections that we're talking about here. And I just really wanted to pull these images to make the case. What's going on with Native American women, this idea of deconstructing traditional gender stereotypes, right? This is Alice Walker here in Womanism. Womanism is to feminism, is purple, is to lavender. Alice Walker and Winston Duke from Black Panther. We men must defy the structures of patriarchy and outdated notions of manhood and use that questioning to build better societies. So some of you may be familiar, this He for She movement, hashtag He for She. Again, just look it up, is one of these initiatives where men are openly talking about their male privilege and using it as activism. So we have to be careful about, men's studies and certain things that once again center men and once again continue with these traditional stereotypes. This is not it, right? This group is not doing that. They're absolutely saying that we need to dismantle this patriarchy, and we are using our male privilege to absolutely do this.